Hello, I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. So, good evening, all. Good evening, all. Uh, you all turned today for this class. Able to attend. Yesterday we couldn't do it because our resource person couldn't make it because she went to one Christmas program and she's on the way, but she couldn't make it to come on time. So she requested me to take, but uh, suddenly taking may not helpful for me and for you also. So that's why I felt that I can able to take today. Okay, today we are going to see person and the work of Jesus Christ. So on Monday we saw that the doctrine of Trinity. Sister Rosemary Mohan she took. In doctrine of Trinity, what we learned is when we see the long ways of scriptures, the many places that we see the plurality whenever it is mentioned about Yahweh or some other words which is connecting to God are in plural instead of singular. Okay, so that is that is the most significant thing that we need to learn out of it, that God is a triune God. Okay, so that actually makes our faith foundation. Okay, Trinity God, triune God. So, uh, so throughout the Bible, we see God as a triune God, and from Genesis till from the creation to the Revelations. Okay, so in that connection, we are going to in Trinity of God in Old Testament, we saw that God as a creator, the Father, uh, who actually uh, see him as Yahweh in the Old Testament, and he is as a father and creator and all. Okay, so uh, here in New Testament we see God not only in New Testament, in Old Testament also we see Jesus, the presence also in many places. And particularly in New Testament, we see him very significantly. Uh, the New Testament starts with his birth and the second coming of Jesus Christ and all. Okay, so uh, this is actually the doctrine that we study today is Christology. Christology means we study about Christ. Okay, so the person and work of Jesus Christ. In this lesson, we are going to see very briefly about Jesus Christ. Okay, in Christology, many things that we have to study. Okay, but we don't have that much time to study. However, what are the things that we need to study in Christology? The prophecies about Jesus Christ. Okay, what are the prophecies there in Old Testament? The virgin birth of Jesus Christ, sinlessness of Christ, teachings of Jesus Christ, death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, miracles of Jesus Christ, second coming of Jesus Christ. Many other things are there. So these are all things that we need to study extensively. It all actually covers the story. Okay. Today, all this things very in a very brief manner that we are going to see that it all covers. But when we are going to in details, we have to study all this and birth of Jesus, of Christ, Hello, excuse me, please.
Lata bade. Lidatha bade. Ngweka bade basa.
Please, Samay, please mute.
Awani mal so.
Brother Ramesh, if there is any disturbance like that, please mute them so that it will not be any disturbance. Okay. Okay, so today we see this session into two parts, person of Jesus Christ and work of Jesus Christ. In person of Jesus Christ, we are going to study the deity of Jesus Christ and humanity. Deity means the God's nature in Jesus Christ and human nature in Jesus Christ. The deity of Jesus Christ. So, the deity of Jesus Christ, how we will know into a few points that we are going to see. The pre-existence and incarnation. Incarnation means God came into this world. Okay. Jesus' birth. His history actually, starts with his birth. Okay. About from there we will know about Jesus Christ. Okay. Even before that, Jesus' presence is there. That is called pre-existence of Jesus. Okay. So the pre-existence and incarnation that we see, John 1:1-2. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. So the Gospel of John actually starts from that point. The point is Jesus is existing before he was born into this world. Okay. So from where actually he from which timing he was there? He was with God from the beginning. That is, he was there in the creation. He was there even before before. He was with God means he was above to this time. Okay, he was with God in the beginning. Okay, from eternally he is existing. Okay. Jesus is existing eternally. Okay, that's what John's Gospel. He starts from there, from that point, and then he explains about Jesus Christ. Okay, in Philippians 2, 5-7, Paul explains beautifully, let the same mind be in you that was in Jesus Christ, who though he was in the form of God, did not regard equally with God as something to be exploited. Okay, but emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, being born in human likeness. Though he was God, okay, though he was equally with God, but he emptied himself. He willingly emptied himself and took the human likeness. Okay, that's what Paul explains. So, what are the titles and attributes that Jesus Christ is having? In John 14:9, it says, Jesus said to him, have I been with you so long, and yet you do not know me, Philip? Whoever has been seen me has seen Father. Who can you say, show us the Father? Okay. So when Jesus was speaking with Philip, he was telling that whoever has seen me has seen Father. Okay, nobody saw Father. Nobody seen Father in the history. Okay, even Moses once on the mountain of Sinai, he actually he asked God to show his face. Okay, but he couldn't see God. Okay, so he reveals himself. Then he asked God that who you are. Okay, so then God the Father actually he reveals himself that he tells Moses that I am that I am. Okay, so I'm existing person like that. No one seen the Father. Okay, but whoever see Jesus is seen the Father. In other way, whoever having relationship with the Jesus Christ has having relationship with Father. Okay, so whoever knows Jesus knows God. Okay, that's what Jesus is trying to explain Philip and the disciples. Colossians 1:15 to 17, it says, He is the image of the invisible God. Jesus Christ is the image of invisible God. God is invisible because he was spirit. We can't see him, but he came into the form, human form. So that's why Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. Uh, so here, many people misunderstand that he was born. Okay, Jesus was born of all creation. He was the firstborn of all creation. This is only the word which is here used as uh, metaphoric. Okay, so the firstborn means he was there from the beginning. Okay, so before all the creation, he was there. He was with God. Okay, it doesn't mean that he was the first was created and all things later was created. Not like that. But even before the creation, he was with God. Okay, that's how we can see. For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, where thrones are, dominions of rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Okay. So he is a sovereign God. Here, all dominions, authorities under his power, control. Everything is in control. That means he's sovereign. Who is sovereign? God himself is sovereign. Okay. Here, to Colossians, Paul is trying to explain that Jesus is not merely a human being. He is a God, a God of sovereignty. Okay, that's what Paul tried to explain this verse. Okay. Miracle and authority. Here you see clearly Mark 5, 5 to 12, when Jesus saw their faith. Here the paralytic person was brought to Jesus. Okay, so Jesus, uh, he performs a miracle. Not only performing a miracle, and he also forgives the sins of that person. Pharisees and other people were there. So forgiving sins is blasphemy. Who can forgive sins? Only God can forgive sins. Okay. So here in the second paragraph, let's see, which is easier to say to the paralytic, your sins are forgiven, or to get up. Performing a miracle is easier, or forgiving sins is easier. Okay. Only forgiving sins, only God can forgive sins. But healing and performing a miracle may be a possible, there is a possibility. Okay. So based on the circumstances and all. But forgiving sins, only God can do that. That's why the high priest and all, they were against Jesus. Okay, because Jesus was here showing his authority to forgive sins. Okay, so that's what you see. The the divine nature of God, the divine nature of Jesus Christ. You can see here. Okay, in John 11 chapter 38 to 44, you can see when Jesus deeply moved again, came to the tomb. It was a cave. The stone was laying against the entrance. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Here, the instant is raising Lazarus from the dead. Okay. So Martha and uh, Mary was actually crying. Jesus comes little slowly. He will come little late. By the time, Lazarus was buried in the cave. The stone was uh, sealed to the cave. Okay, Jesus says, "Take away the stone." Here, we see the performance. He was not only uh, healing the paralytic, even he's raising people from the dead, because he is the author of life and death. Okay. He's the author for the life. He can take the life and he can give the life. He's the author of the life. All life came out of him. Okay. So, and here the wonderful miracle that we see and the authority over death also we can see in this verses. Okay. So forgiving sins, authority over death. So these are the things that we actually uh, can be seen that Jesus having authority over all these things, and that's why the deity of Jesus that we can see here. And also, there's another contradictory with the contradictory claim, which is actually Pharisees see in Jesus Christ is in Exodus 3:14, God said to Moses, "I am who I am," and He said, "Say this is to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you." Okay, so John 5:8, it says, Jesus said to them, "Very truly I'll tell you, before Abraham I was God, I am." Okay, I was God before Abraham, I was there. Okay, so you all boast about Abraham. You all boast about we are the descendants of Abraham. But who is Abraham? Okay, who is Abraham? He was created by me. I was the Lord to him. I am, he says. Okay. Jesus makes a bold statement about the pre-existence, claiming that he existed before Abraham, the father of the Jewish nation. This claim directly contradicts the Jewish belief that the Messiah would be a descendant of Abraham. By saying, "I am," Jesus is not only accepting his existence before Abraham, but also implicitly equating himself with God, who is often referred to as "I am" in the Old Testament. Okay. So, this is another claim of Jesus Christ that shows his deity. These two verses, that means, Exodus and also John, these two verses, when considered together, offer strong support for the Christian belief in Jesus' divinity. They show that Jesus not only possesses divine attributes, but also claims to be one with God. Okay, so friends, these are the verses that should be in our mind whenever that we are um, low in our mood, low in our personal personally that we are disappointed in our faith and all. So these are the words actually encourages us to see Jesus Christ, that He is a pre-existence God. We are not just following a leader, like following Gandhi or following uh, like many other people. Jesus is not just a leader like many other leaders, political leaders in our history, but He is God, a pre-existing God. Before this universe was created, He was there. Okay, humanity. So we saw till now Jesus, the nature, the deity nature. Okay, that means He is 100% God. 100% God. That's it's not that 50% God or 75% God. When He took the humanity, 25% is gone. Like it is not like that. He is 100% God. Okay. Humanity of Jesus Christ that we are going to see. Incarnation. Incarnation means birth of Jesus Christ. Jesus, the divine Son of God, took on a human nature at his birth, becoming fully human while remaining fully divine. Thus, union of divine and human natures is often referred as the hypostatic union. Okay, while being fully divine, he was fully human also because of the birth. Okay, because of the birth, he took the flesh. The word became flesh. So in that way, so since Jesus took our blood, the blood and flesh, he became fully human. Okay. Next, we are going to see the shared experiences. Jesus shared experiences through his life. Jesus exhibited all his characteristics of human being. He felt hunger, okay, thirst, emotions, joy, sorrow, anger, and compassion. He learned and grew, interacted with others, faced temptations like human beings. What human beings are, if you don't eat, you feel hunger. If you don't drink, you feel thirst. And you have emotions like joy. You are happy, you are joyful. If anything happens, yes, we feel very pathetic. That means sorrowful, anger, compassion. All these are human emotions, shared experiences. Jesus actually shared. Okay. So next is sinless nature. Despite experiencing all the temptations and challenges of human life, Jesus never tempted sin. So he is having 100% human nature. That's why he was faced temptations. So though he faced temptations, though he is having a human nature in him, human flesh is there in him, he was uh, all the human challenges are there to Jesus, but he never tempted sin. The sinlessness is essential for his role as a perfect sacrifice to humanity's sin. So he was born into this world. He was incarnated. He took blood and flesh so that he can be the perfect sacrifice for humanity's sin. Who will become perfect sacrifice? A sinless person can become a perfect sacrifice. So that's why Jesus, though many temptations, though many challenges in his life, he never committed sin. So that's what we need to uh, see here, brothers and sisters, that he came into this world with a purpose. Okay, the purpose of became a perfect sacrifice for humanity's sin. He came into this world to reconcile man with God. He came here with a purpose. So for that purpose, many challenges in human life that he faced, but he chose to be sinless. That's what we also need to learn. So we have purpose in our life. Though we have human nature and all there, but we always remember the purpose that we are existing. So then definitely for some extent that we try to live a holy life. Yes, a sanctified life. I cannot say the holy life, the sanctified life. Every day that we live a sanctified life for the purpose of God. Okay. So what is the significance of humanity of Jesus Christ is manifested. Okay. It bridges the gap between God and humanity. Okay. So why he became a human? Because to bridge the gap between God and humanity. Jesus, as both God and man, serves as a mediator, making God reliable and accessible to humans. Okay. He became so that we are accessible to God.
Hello, sir. You're not audible enough.
Hello.
Yeah, better on that volume because we weren't able to hear you very loudly.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, no. Sometimes my voice becoming low.
All right.
It provides hope and comfort. Okay. It provides hope and comfort. So, firstly, the significance is he bridges the gap between God and man. Then it provides hope and comfort. Because humans from the ages, they were looking for hope because of the sin. Knowing that Jesus understands human suffering, first-hand offers solace and hope to those facing challenges and hardships. And thirdly, it emphasizes the value of human life. Okay. Jesus' full humanity affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every human being, regardless of their circumstances. Where we were born, whether we are black or whether we are white, whether we are in a gray, we are in a gray shape or whatever the shape, that whether we are tall or we are short, whether we are women or men or whatever it may be, the humanity affirms the inheritance, worth, and dignity of every human being. That's what we need to understand. Okay, regardless of their circumstances, where we are born, whether in India, Malawi, and any other country. Okay, so first of all, Jesus Christ took the humanity, the nature of humanity, so that we are also born in humanity. We need to accept ourselves. Okay, first of all, and we have a dignity because we are created in the image of God, and even Jesus Christ took this flesh. Okay, because of that we have dignity. So we are human beings regardless of their circumstances. Okay, so these are the significant things. One is he, because of divine nature of God, human nature, both were there in Jesus Christ. that actually helps to bridge the gap between God and human. It provides a hope and comfort. It emphasizes the value of human life. So hypostatic union affirms that Jesus Christ was both fully human and fully God simultaneously. Okay. So some people, some theories actually, it shows like, sometimes God, Jesus showed his divine nature. Sometimes Jesus showed his uh, human nature. It is not like that. That is that is heresies. Okay, this is not like that. Simultaneously, at the same time, hypostatic union is there in Jesus Christ. Hypostatic means this divine nature and human nature at the same time he experienced. It was there in him, in Jesus Christ. This is the fundamental belief in Christianity and a mystery that has been pondered by the theologians for centuries. Many people try to explain this one with the examples and all. Some people little bit go ahead and they misinterpret this one, but we need to understand simply like this. So the divine nature and human nature both were in Jesus Christ. So that is called hypostatic union, divine and human in Jesus Christ. So both works in him simultaneously. That's what we need to believe blindly. That's the belief of historical Christianity. Okay. The work of Jesus. So we saw the person of Jesus Christ. Now we are going to see the work of Jesus Christ. So we can see Jesus, the offices of Jesus, the work of Jesus, like, he was a prophet, priest, and the king. So these are the offices that he has holds. The prophet, Jesus revealed God's will, and so who is prophet? We already in Old Testament survey we saw that the prophet actually reveals the will of God. He brings the message from the God. Okay, so so he interprets the that law to the people. So these are the the prophetic prophets mm, prophets what we can say, the characteristics of prophets. So Jesus also, as we see, Jesus revealed God's will and message to humanity. He thought about the kingdom of God, love and righteousness. John 49, Matthew 5, uh, Matthew 5, 5 to 7. What is there in Matthew 5 to 7? Uh, the teachings. Okay, so Sermon on the Mount is there. Okay, so you see the teachings, the prophetic teachings of Jesus Christ. Priest, how you become priest? Jesus acted as the ultimate mediator between God and humanity. Okay, when we go into the temple, we cannot approach God directly. We have to approach God through the priest of the temple. So that means Jesus acted as the ultimate mediator between God and humanity. Okay. He sacrificed himself on the cross, offering atonement for human sin and reconciling us with God. Hebrews 7:27, Romans 5:11. So he also acted as king. Okay. Jesus is considered the king of God's kingdom. If there is a kingdom, there should be God. There should be a king, right? So the word kingdom that we see in a New Testament, so many times that the word kingdom we see. Kingdom, many parables were there about kingdom, God's kingdom. So if there is a kingdom, there should be a king, isn't it? So Jesus is the king. Jesus is considered the king of God's kingdom, both present and future. Present, future. He reigns over his followers. offering hope and guidance for living a godly life. Means, who is king? King is Lord, the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Okay. So he actually, Jesus Christ, with three offices that the work of Jesus Christ we see as a prophet, as a priest, as a king. In another way, uh, in salvation atonement, we see sin and fall. Humanity's sin separates us from God. Jesus' death on the cross is seen as the act of redemption, paying the penalty of our sin and making reconciliation possible. Justification and grace. So, in justification and grace, we see how Jesus justified us. Okay, instead of we are dying, instead of we are doomed to the death, he took our death. So he put his righteousness on us. Okay, so he put his righteousness on us. So that's how through grace we are justified. Through faith in Jesus, we are forgiven and declared righteous before God. This act of grace grants us spiritual salvation and eternal life. So here, few more works of Jesus Christ we see in incarnation. Okay, in incarnation, Jesus, the divine Son of God, took on humanity, human flesh, and lived a perfect life without sin. So, what is the explanation? This act bridges the gap between God and humanity, allowing Jesus to fully understand human significance, suffering, and temptation while demonstrating God's love and grace. So, dear friends, in incarnation, um, we see God who bridged gap between God and human. Jesus bridged God, uh, the gap between God and man. In atonement, that means so he took our death. Okay, so Jesus' death on the cross paid the penalty for human sins, satisfying God's sacrifice and providing forgiveness. Different theological schools offer various interpretations of atonement, including uh, substitutionary atonement. Instead of we are dying, Christ took that place and he died. Okay. So in another way that Christus Victor, another theological, Christ overcoming sin and death. So instead of we are overcoming death, Jesus, overcome death. And moral influence theory. So Jesus' suffering and love inspiring moral transformation. In resurrection. So the resurrection signifies the ultimate victory over sin and death, offering hope for eternal life for those who believe in Jesus Christ. Okay, so this is another work that Jesus Christ performed. He did reconciliation and salvation. Okay. He reconciled. The reconciliation actually involves in justification, sanctification, and glorification. Okay, so glorification is 100% becoming Christ likeness, transforming, ultimate transformation, fully transform into Christ likeness. Okay, so in reconciliation and salvation, we see how God's work through faith. Through faith in Jesus Christ, we can be justified, we can be sanctified, we can be glorified. Okay, that is the work that Christ did for us. Lordship. Jesus, we saw, that Jesus is a king. Means we are under the lordship of Christ, Christ the King. Jesus ascended to heaven and reigns as king over all creation, offering guidance and hope for the future. This belief emphasizes Jesus' continuing power and influence in the life of believers, providing comfort and purposes. Brothers and sisters, here I wanted to stop and ask you to see our we may be living in a country where things are very pathetic, maybe pathetic. Circumstances may be very annoying. Maybe we are living in a very uncomfortable situations. Maybe our country may be very corrupt country. We in Indians, so so many times that when we see things around us, we see many problems around us. Sometimes I feel that I might have gone to some other country. Okay, so maybe I may live there. So I feel that I wanted to send my children to a Western country so that they should not uh, they may have a better life there, something like that. But one thing that we need to understand here, we are wherever maybe we are living in, in the generation God allows us to live. We need to live in the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Okay. So this belief emphasizes Jesus' continuing power over our circumstances. Okay. God wants us to change things through us. Okay. Because we have that power. God can give us power. God can help us influence the lives around us. Okay. So, and He actually comforts us. He provides us, and He makes our life, purposeful. So these are just some of the key doctrines within the work of Jesus Christ. Understanding these concepts is crucial for comprehending the core message of Christianity and its significance for human salvation and relationship with God. So, friends, person of Christ, that means deity, that divine nature of God, human nature of God is there hypothetically in Jesus Christ. Hypothetic union is there in simultaneously is there in Jesus Christ. The work of Jesus Christ, the significance of the work of Jesus Christ, we always should keep in our mind, and we need to study more about, as I already told. So how can we know that virgin birth of Jesus Christ, teachings of Jesus Christ, sinlessness of Jesus Christ? If you study all these topics under the Christology, we can know more about, the Christ consciousness. We can live. Okay, so that we can live under the Lordship of Jesus Christ. So we can be purposeful. And today, I think Brother Joy actually shared one video about mission mindness. So the priest was actually teaching, once you become Christ, the first thing that you need to do is you have to go and witness for Him. So that is the purpose that we are living in. If you understand Christ better, you can live better as a pastor, maybe as a whatever the work that you do, you will be purposeful. Okay. So thank you very much. By today we could able to, of course, many other things, second coming of Jesus Christ, we we study later as a doctrine separately. But by today, there are two doctrines in this month. We covered the Trinity of Jesus, the Trinity, and also Christology. In Christology, the person of Christ and the work of Jesus Christ we covered. Okay, friends. If it is possible, we can able to meet like for a Thanksgiving prayer or something like that before 31st or something. Otherwise, we will meet in the next month. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Hand over to Brother Ramesh.